How we doing? How we doing? We should be live here. If you're here already, thank you so much for waiting on me. And let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. We've had some fun technical difficulties. If you were here last week, we'll talk about the camera thing real quick. So hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can see me. Just let me know because I'm paranoid always on that. Even though I've done many of these live streams, I don't ever have a situation where you guys can't hear me. That would suck. So yeah, let me know in the chat if you guys are here, where you're watching from, all that good stuff. Hopefully we're getting connected up here and everything's good to go. I'm gonna do a little double check on my end as well, just to appease my paranoia. But yeah, let me see here. We got Derek in the chat. Appreciate you being here, brother. And sweet. All right, I think we're good. Okay. So yeah, Derek, appreciate you throwing in the hashtag Q. Love that as well. I can search this chat, so if we need that, that would be perfect. Thank you so much for the audio check there as well. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So yeah, we can kind of just dive into all this. Okay, so here I'm gonna lay the land here for anybody that's not here, or anybody that's not normally here, anybody this is your first time, whatever. Kind of the way that I like to do this is kind of give like a weekly recap of all the things that I've kind of seen, and then obviously like today our specific topic is I will dive into kind of the things that I'm working on for my own personal site. So there's already a couple questions kind of pre-show, pre-live button pressing. I have an agency called Find a Tech. I call it an agency because like that's the goal, to kind of make it more of an agency. We've done a little bit more of like agency-ish work, but I think of it as an agency. So I've really only kind of been like a solo like agency owner. I have like kind of like had a couple bits of like contracting stuff kind of like that in the past with other people and like kind of teamed up a little bit, but by and large it's normally just me kind of like doing all of it because I wanted to kind of like understand everything. I'm 28 years old. I've been doing it since like 2018, and really like full time for like the last 2-ish years. So I just am like trying to just understand everything. I'm still in my sponge phase. I'm just trying to like absorb everything from everyone that's on YouTube or just that I meet in the WordPress space, and it's all been great. So kind of the high level there on that with the Find a Tech side of it. I know Derek asked a question before we went live. The website that I'm talking about specifically is like kind of like my personal site. I've had versions of personal sites before, but they've never been like WordPress specific and kind of the stuff that I'll kind of show you now, and then you'll see once I launch it, most likely next week here. But you're getting a sneak peek today, so sick. Also, we talked briefly about findatech.com last week. And yeah, I'm not like extremely proud of where that site's at, but again, I built it in Elementor with what I knew back then, the messaging and all that sort of stuff. That site probably has been like that for honestly like 2 years at this point, which I'm not mad. It's okay, but it's not where I want it to be. So I am actually we're working on a revamp of that as well. We can get into any questions you guys have. Just leave them in the comments there. But I think I ran through a couple of the questions there. So yeah, we talked about Derek's there. Halal, thank you so much for being here from Saudi Arabia. Sick. Steven, good to see you, brother. The Isle. Rob Cooper, hello, brother. Hello. Grant, good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, New York, nice. I'm right down in Pittsburgh too. So Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, that's where I'm at. Rob Cooper's in the house. Agency freelancer. Nice. Love that. Love that. Few more years of experience than Mark does since 2014. Nice. Nice. Let's see what we got here. Hello from wet UK. It's wet here too. It's not right now. It's not raining. We've had a little bit of a dry spell here in Pittsburgh, but it is also quite rainy here. I hear that a lot about the UK, so it's awesome. It's fun to be just constantly raining all the time. I never found the podcast you were doing last week. Has it not been released yet? Yeah, so that's another good point there. So yeah, so we can kind of just dive into some of this thing. We can go back and forth because I do have a lot of random topics, and then I want to get to the stuff obviously here with the website. Okay, so most of you guys probably know who Josh Hull is. He's an OG in the WordPress space. I'll drop a thing in here just in case you guys haven't heard of him, but you should definitely go subscribe to him. He's done a lot of technical stuff in the past, and now he's more focused on like the business of web design, everything like that. And I think me and him like kind of really mesh well together. So I did a podcast, recorded one last week, right after my stream here with him. We did a solid, great hour, really good conversation. Again, like I said, I just really vibe with him as so many other people in this community. He told me that podcast is he's kind of like this is like a main thing for him. He's got a ton of these. You should go listen to all of them. Is coming out in like a month or two. So when that comes out, I'll let you guys know. I'll announce it on here. Obviously, I'll share it on my socials and everything like that. But not out yet. So that is a good question. But I did have a great time. So when we get to that, I'll let you guys know when that pops out. Real quick, we'll address the funny camera thing that happened at the end of the last stream because that was just kind of comical. What happened was I'm staring, and this is all going to blend in to some degree with the website thing we'll talk about, but I'll get to that. But just real quick, I'm staring into a Sony ZV-1 like point and shoot camera like on a rig and everything like that. And then I have a mini HDMI to a full HDMI going to my desktop over here that plugs into a Camlink 4K, which is like an Elgato, like a capture device, capture card thing, and then that just plugs into USB. And I think the downfall was I don't think the Camlink is bad. I don't think the camera is bad, which is good because those are the expensive bits. I think the problem is either in the cable, which I had a spare of and I replaced, and then I think I also had like an extension cable that they give me because like sometimes the way the shit plugs into your computer. I also had that plugged in and I just nixed that. So fingers crossed we don't have any more camera issues. But yeah, I was just disconnecting and stuff, and that's why you couldn't see me the last 10 minutes of that. And if you're ever in that situation, just turn the actual camera on and off. I was like playing with like the source on the Restream streaming software here. But yeah, so anyway, as soon as I got off that, I turned the camera off and turned it back on, which I should have done while I was on the stream, and it ended up working. So that is the funny story there with the camera situation. So we should be good to go there. Nice. Okay, let me go through some of these comments here. CDO as a web startup in 2000. First site was 1997. Nice. Love the experience in this community too. Just a lot of good, I bet you a ton of good stories. That would be fantastic to hear more of those. Using WordPress since 2018, I learned HTML and CSS in 2014. Damn, nice. Grant charge analysis, sir. Yes, sir. Taught web development and CSS in 2001. Yeah, 2 months for the podcast episode. Yeah. David Bell, good to see you. Just reply to that comment too. Yeah, because like I'll mention that real quick because again it ties into the website stuff. I've had these links in my like bios and stuff like that, and all these it was kind of like way too early, like marksmancy.co/tools/resources. Those will be active links, and you will get to see the sneak peek of some of those pages right now and some of the concepts behind them. But yeah, right now they just don't go anywhere, which is not do as I say and not as I do, I guess is a good way to put that. So yeah, hopefully that will be out soon as well. Then walked away and moved to SEO. I did not keep the CSS skills, so I became a chump. I'm taking it all back now. We're all chumps at some point. We're all chumps, 100%. Mark, have you listened to Josh's 300 plus podcast episodes? Just so many. I've listened to a ton of them. It's actually really funny because he is really good friends with a ton of people obviously, but like one of the ones that I think somewhat of a recurring guest is Hans Skillrud from Termageddon, and my colleague and I, CT Cope and I, he's literally actually in my living room right now because he's in town. But we meet with like Hans like pretty regularly, just because of like how great of a product Termageddon is, and just like there's like a lot of good chats to be had with people that are doing really cool things in this space. So I would just encourage all of you guys, all of you guys are familiar faces, like just always like be as, get out there as much as possible, make the connections. If you can go to the meetups and stuff like that, definitely do that. A lot of the meetup stuff is virtual. If you can go to the WordCamps and everything like that, that's fantastic. But I don't know. I just really enjoy all of the connections that I've made here in the last year or so. And I really appreciate all of you guys checking out the content and all of that stuff. So, but yeah, just a lot of like once you start getting into it, there's a lot of different pieces that kind of just come together and just ends up being kind of a small world. What's the camera brand again? I think I missed it. It's a Sony ZV-1. I think it came out in 2019, but it's just like a little point and shoot flip out camera. It's pretty good. It's 4K. This stream isn't 4K because Restream needs to get their shit together. That's a different story though. But yeah, Hans Donato are fantastic, 100%. I hope the camera problem didn't create an issue with your streaming. Oh, I'd like to say, yeah, I don't know if Ruben's gonna be making that joke again today, but yeah, it definitely set me back. Yeah, I had to really refrain on the content. Um, we're getting the double comment thing again here. Yeah, I totally get that. Wherever you do not look on my own site, it's a mess. Yeah, I mean, again, the find a tech thing, like that's a separate thing that like I just want to continue to get to. But like with all the stuff that I'm doing now, all the content, everything like that, I've really like retrained myself. I mean, we're still doing things, obviously, find a tech, and I want to continue it. But like I want to try to remove myself a little bit from that day to day activity. So I feel like focusing on this stuff and trying to scale that kind of in the same, not at the same time necessarily. I just feel like that's kind of more the, I really just like this stuff. I love making these connections. I love sharing content with you guys. And I'm just being transparent. That's kind of where I'm like headed. I'm definitely still doing client work currently, and there's a lot of really good projects there, and it keeps you sharp. I mean, you have to keep building stuff and trying things, and I want to make more content. I will say this real quick as we continue to transition to some of these other things. I will say that I feel like I've been lacking a little bit on the video content. I've been pretty active in the communities and on socials and these live streams. I love doing live streams every week, but I want to do more. And one thing specifically, actually, next week, this is not scheduled, but I'm just going to say it. So it is scheduled, but it's not like fully, so to speak, like scheduled. I'm going to be doing Brendan O'Connell. You guys know Brendan, incredibly talented dude. We are going to be doing another live stream here, tentatively scheduled for next week about like APIs and stuff. And if you haven't watched any of his recent videos, you got to go watch them because he is really tinkering with a lot of different like API things that this I feel like to me, and I'll probably make like some sort of more concise content about this at some point. But to me, the the way in which you go about like WordPress in general or just thinking is like you think of like everything as being like super static and just like design almost like just like throw everything on a page and just da 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 whatever, right? And then you start to think about a little bit more dynamic content of maybe some CPTs and custom fields and everything like that. But then like at the point that I'm at personally with this website that we're going to talk about, I want to make things even easier, right? Like you can go from static, like just when I say static, I don't mean like an actual static website, but I mean like like content that doesn't change, or like a brochure website or whatever, or content that should be changing but you're not doing it right, because you're not using CPTs and custom fields. So then once you learn about custom fields and you watch my why did I not promote my dynamic data series, wpdynamicdata.co. I'll put the link in the thing. This is a playlist here. Again, we're all gonna talk about it here when we get to the what's it called, the website stuff. But if you haven't watched this series, I would highly recommend you do, because in my opinion, it's one of the best, if not the best, like dynamic data, just like serious things. Kevin just did the one recently, which like fantastic with like an actual project. This definitely wasn't that, but like this is just the way that I learned this stuff. And like if I would go back and this is how I would like teach it to somebody. So I'm just really proud of this, and I want to continue. If there's any other concepts, I'll continue to add to it. But this is like a free 5 video series that if you watch this, or anybody that watches this, you are going to be so much further ahead than most WordPress users just in the concepts of understanding. I'm not trying to like go deep into any of the specific tools necessarily. I'm trying to give you the concepts of how you could do it, and then you use any tool, use any CPT tool, use any page builder, whatever. So again, just always want to remind people of this, because this is, I think, something that could as a really valuable asset. But the reason that I brought that up is because I feel like that's where I'm at in my journey. Is that's kind of like phase 2. Phase 1 is those static brochure sites. Phase 2 is like you get into more dynamic content. Phase 3 is where you start integrating with other stuff to make the dynamic content even more, for lack of a better term, like dynamic, but like more automated or more just robust in some sort of sense. And I am not an expert in that. I'm not even like, I'm barely intermediate. Like I just slightly understand what the idea of like an API is, or what it can do for you, or how you could tie it into like WordPress. And obviously WordPress is the REST API, but I'm talking about like extra APIs. So to kind of like prelude the website discussion we're going to have here, and going back to me and Brendan next week, is we're going to try to do some things with APIs. Now, I don't know if we'll be able to do it at that live stream, But my goal as just a general use case would be, okay, I make a ton of YouTube videos, right? Well, what I want to do is one use case that we could talk about is I want to go and be able to go onto my website and have a videos custom post type and have it have like a thumbnail and like a link to the YouTube video and a description and, you know, whatever, all those types of things, right? Well, I don't want to have to physically go back to all my YouTube like list and like either export, like I could export them or something or whatever, but I don't want to have to necessarily go in there and manually do any of that. Like the most manual caveman way to do it would be like to literally just go in and copy every title and every description and all that sort of stuff and put it into a custom post type and do that every single time. You could do that. It would work. It would just take a long ass time and it's probably not a great use of your time. Maybe you want to pay somebody or something to manage it. The like a better way, which we'll be experimenting with, and I hope to actually get to work with Brendan, because he knows a lot more about this shit than I do, is use the YouTube API to just like dump that data into a CPT or call it directly, but in that case, probably dump it. And I think that that's definitely possible because people do that stuff all the time. It's just not as talked about. Like there are some creators, and I need to find more, even more, that are doing really cool things with API, especially like with what Jet Engine and Crocoblock's doing. I know they just did some real cool stuff with like the WordPress API and all that sort of stuff, and just a way to interact with your website. But just getting that stuff from other like either free APIs or just anything where that you'd like. I don't know. It's just really fascinating to me, and I think it opens like kind of that next level of having an even more dynamic site that you have to do less work to achieve. I mean, you have to do more work on the front end, but not on the back end. So that's just kind of the high level there of everything we're kind of talking about, and just thoughts there. Let me see here. You or Kevin Geary should start OF, only followers. Yeah, maybe. It's funny because I mean that's what OnlyFans was supposed to be, I feel like, and then it just kind of got co-opted to a bunch of, the stuff that's on there. Are you in Kevin's inner circle? I am. Yeah. Great resource. If you guys aren't in there, I highly recommend you go join Kevin's inner circle. Kevin Geary's last live stream had him ranting on the failings of WP CMS. Do you think his new Etch product will be a new WP CMS or no? I don't know. I have no idea. I will. That was actually on my list though to kind of just like bring up and everything because I saw the tweet that Kevin put out where it's etchwp.com. So I would highly recommend if you guys are not already on this wait list, go check it out because anything that comes from Kevin, I mean, you at least at minimum you have to pay attention to. I mean, obviously I use ACSS, I use Frames. Fantastic products, and Kevin is one of the main reasons that I switched over to kind of the bricks workflow and everything like that. And when I was coming into the community more, and I was like getting out of just knowing Elementor, and now I know like all these different builders, all these different people, all these different tools. So I definitely give him a lot of credit, and I am extremely looking forward to seeing what Etch is, what it brings. I mean, I tweeted out yesterday like I'm a big GIF guy on X. And I just like put a GIF on there. I was like, "What is it?" So everybody's excited, but I think it's coming right around the corner here. So definitely go check that out, and we'll talk about some more of these things. So this is another random thing that I had on here. Quick little video Matt and I did. Matt Medeiros over on the WP Minute, becoming a WordPress content creator. This might be interesting to some of you guys. It might not be. I always, honestly, to be completely transparent, like I love talking about the stuff that I talked about with Matt in that video. I've learned so much from Matt just in such a short period of time. I think about this stuff. I haven't even known so many of these people, you guys, like even for a year, and it's just like I'm just incredibly appreciative. But talking to Matt about that stuff, that's not something that like everybody cares about because not everybody's trying to be like a WordPress content creator, but it is an interesting insight. I feel like even if you're not into like what this is like, just trying to think about like, okay, I'm not just trying to build websites, but I'm not trying to build a product, just websites or whatever, but I'm also trying to like create content on that and like think very like critically or like at a high level of like why are they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? Again, like it's a really interesting thing. So I mean, we talked about a lot of that, and Matt is huge into the podcasting space, which is another thing that I've had a short stint in the past, and I love it. I love talking, but the problem with that is there's just like you have to have like a really good either it's the same thing as web design, honestly, in a lot of ways. Either you have to have a niche or you have to know a lot of famous people like Joe Rogan, just bring them on the show. Like there's a lot of things that go into that, but a little off topic there. But that was another great chat as always with Matt. So I really appreciate him having me on. And what else we got here? And Matt actually sent me some links that we'll go over here real quick. He wants exec. I don't have a tag for him on the screen, but he is the executive producer of today's episode because he sent me some good stuff that we will chat about here real quick. What do we got here? I'm lost in the chat now. Mark, your video series should dynamically promote itself, right? That would be amazing if we could get it to dynamically promote itself, just like recursively throughout the internet. That would be awesome. That's what I'm relying on you guys to do. Have you guys seen the new Etch domain? Yeah, yep. Go check that out, etchwp.com. I'd like to integrate an API for Google reviews too. Okay, so that's a good one. I have no idea. I'm not going to lie to you. I have no idea how to do that. The one thing I would say is there definitely are some decent, and I'm saying decent because I don't know what your like what your requirements or definition of decent would be, depending on like so many factors, like actual use case, features, accessibility, like so many different things. But the one thing I would say is Trust Index is one that I have used, and it's decent. I mean, again, I think this is on the. I want to say this is right on the Find a Tech website, right here somewhere, right here. It's just a little, you can do sliders, you can do all sorts of different stuff. And it does what it does. It's like 16 Google reviews. These are all the Google views that we have on the thing. They have different pricing options, obviously, depending on how many you want. I think I literally have the unlimited one because I'm putting that on like client websites that are like locally serviced or whatever. You don't have to just do Google as well. The cool thing about this is like that there is more than just like if you have a solution like this. I'm not trying to recommend them necessarily. Like do your own research and find one because there's other ones too. This one was just recommended to me, and it's been fine from what I can see. But the one thing is, do your due diligence on those types of things. But if you want to expand, right? Like say you want to do like reviews and you want to pull them in. I don't want to get into the business of building a bunch of like API integrations and everything like that. And luckily, there's even different ways to do that with like either active pieces, which Brendan has some videos on his channel about. There's Zapier, obviously everyone knows. There's Integromat or Make or whatever the hell it's called now. Like you can do some stuff like that where you're piecing the stuff together and you're not actually writing anything or doing anything. But I'm just trying to give you options because something like this is kind of more of a little bit of a plug and play, and then they've already done a lot of that technical work for you. Because like I have a client that like I have like Google and Zillow kind of like pulling in, so they just have like those. It's like you could have like a big list that's all dynamically from like Google, Zillow, like whatever other platforms there are to review, like Facebook or whatever. So it's an option. I'm not saying that you got to go that route. I mean, I would love to do stuff more natively if I can as well. Just because, there's pros and cons to it though, because you kind of got to manage it. Depends on how unruly it gets, because it could get unruly pretty fast depending on what you like, what you're doing, what your goal is, and everything like that. So, yeah. Derek, what is your tech stack? I'm gonna star that answer, and we'll look at it here when I bring up the website because I have some really cool things that I actually like have. They're not like I don't want to say they're like groundbreaking because I'm not doing anything like crazy technical, but I have some ideas that I think some variations on some themes that I've seen that I think might be kind of cool once we fully launch everything. Brendan O'Connell, the man, the myth, the legend, is in here. Thank you so much for being here. Max as well, the AI king. Great to see you, boys. Thank you for being here. Joe, good to see you, brother. Hey, sorry I'm late. Golden Nuggets. What no Golden Nuggets you got today? Is Brandon here? Brandon is here. Brendan is here. Did I hear Kevin hired you for ACS support? Yes, everybody congratulate Brendan on the new role at in Kevin's, I guess, Digital Gravy, the support master. I don't know what your title is, Brendan. You're gonna have to tell the people, but yeah, he's doing great things for the people. Let's see here. What do we got? Oh, there's a video. This is in regard to the Google thing. There's a video on that from Ivan Naguro on YouTube using bricks. That's amazing. Okay. Somebody's already done it. Love it. Have they revealed what Etch is by now? I do not believe so. I think that's coming in September, early September, I believe. Got to go on the wait list. etchwp.com, right? .com. I'm saying that right, yeah. Got to scroll back up. Yeah, etchwp.com. Okay, I'm currently using Trust Index. It's great for filtering reviews. Yeah, yeah. It's, I mean, again, like I said, it's just more of a plug and play thing. There's definitely, depending on how deep you want to get into it, I'm sure there's a ton of options. I would definitely check out that video because I'm actually going to watch that at some point as well. I'm just trying to catch up on these. Brennan O'Connell, what is Etch? Ruben is in the house. Good to see you, Ruben. Um, this is just quick. Do you want to fetch and post reviews into Review CPT, or do you want to actually show them dynamically in the book? Yeah. See this, and this is what we're going to talk about, Brennan. I told the people that we're going to do some fun stuff next week. Yeah, those are questions you have to answer, and you have to understand how to do those types of things and everything like that. And I think there's probably arguments both ways, so we'll definitely dive into that as well when we get there. Dope. Okay, cool. All right, what else we got here? Run through some more quick things. Okay, so we got, again, you guys have probably seen most of these things, but I'm just trying to give some of my thoughts. Paul put up an interesting video here. Should WordPress development stop? Obviously, this has been an ongoing conversation with many different channels and all the guys that, like WP Toots and then Imran, Mark Crowell over at Wiki, and then Jeffrey at Lightbox. They had some good things. I would highly recommend. They're gonna be doing that. I don't know if that's gonna be rotating on people's channels, but they're gonna be doing those live series as well. I think they just had their first official one. I just love these conversations, love getting the perspectives. This video in particular was about like kind of should WordPress development stop? Should they focus more on the CMS and everything like that? I think he talks some about like a lot of from the design angle, how there's like a couple different UIs. These are not like new conversations by any means, but I think that they are like very important to have. And I do think that kind of coming off the back of this, I had a really good one-on-one conversation with Ann McCarthy actually yesterday, I want to say. And you should go subscribe to Ann too, because she's not necessarily a content creator, but she is like a one, something's telling me product wrangler. I don't know the titles. They got interesting titles at Automatic, but she works directly for Automatic. And she was telling me all about her role. And the one thing that I can say is that, and I'll link this video here as well, because this was an interesting one that we did recently. I was actually in this one. I know I talked about it like a month ago, but we're having another YouTube call. Okay, so I'm giving you guys the inside baseball here. I hope you guys appreciate this. So Automatic, specifically Ann McCarthy and like the whole thing, like we've talked about it before. You guys have heard it from Kevin. You heard it. Like it's very interesting, and I'm coming in as newer and trying to like understand it all is fascinating. And I just like to get wrapped up in these things and kind of like see if there's any way that I could like connect the dots and all that. So I talked to Ann directly yesterday and asked a bunch of questions, and she's down to do live streams and different things like that to talk more about this, because I think more people need to understand kind of what's going on instead of just like we're speculating, myself included, just because we don't know, right? And that speculation leads to like more speculation, and it's just tough. So trying to get the actual kind of go more towards the source, like from like Automatic, whether that's Ann or Josepha, Matthias, Matt, like just 30 minutes with Ann, super eye-opening to me. So super grateful for that. And hopefully we can have more of those conversations. And hopefully with that link that I just put in there about the YouTuber call, hopefully the concept there is we have more of direct communications with like Automatic and the people like that actually have influence in like WordPress and WordPress core and all that. And then from there, we're able to actually like maybe have more of an impact, or like dispense more information, or like at least understand and have a better knowledge. I do not think a world exists where like WordPress or Framer or Wordflow or Webflow or whatever is exactly in line with what its community wants per se, because there's just too many differing opinions. However, as long as we understand, at minimum, as long as we understand like what each, like why the things are happening and why things aren't happening, that is at least like the actual reasons for those things, that would be like tremendous. And I just feel like there's a little bit of a lack of that right now. And it's not, I don't think there's any like malice or malintent to any of that. I just think it's literally people are busy. And I mean, I've talked directly to Ann as well. Like she watches some of these streams. She watches a lot of other people's streams. We've been in direct contact. I've sent her some stuff. Hey, I really think you should check this out. These guys are giving some good stuff, like WP Toot streams and everything like that. And I'm not just singling Ann out. Like I'm just saying, like, hey, share this with the team or whatever. And they do consume the stuff as much as they can, but they're also working. So it's just tough. Like time is limited. I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody either. I'm just saying like time is limited, and we have to be somewhat understanding of that. But at the same time, we want this to continue to get better. So that's kind of the overall there. It's hard to have those conversations, just me kind of like riffing by myself here. I feel like we have to have those types of conversations live with people that have all sorts of different perspectives. And I'm excited because everything that I've seen so far, like Anne as one person, is totally down to have those chats. And I think that we need to record those and like kind of show them to you guys so we can kind of again even get more perspectives and concepts and limit as much as speculation as possible because I am, like I said, definitely guilty of it. So that's kind of where we're at on that. So yeah, let's check that off my list there, and let me go back to the comments here real quick. Sign up the emails, couple back and forth. Masba, hello, thank you so much for being here. Max, Ann is cool. Yeah, Ann is dope. She works so hard too. So appreciative. Really appreciative of that. Wait, why is Mark's YouTube like that? What are those numbers? I have no idea. Oh, are you saying, oh, hang on a second. I think I know what you're talking about. Let me go back to that real quick because that's a good question. Are we talking about, let me go to right here. And let me share this. Talking about this. Talking about like this little button here and then like these numbers right here. They're tiny. I know you can't barely see them, but these little things on like Brennan's, for instance. This is just a free Chrome extension called View Stats, I want to say. Yeah, View Stats. I mean, it's more so for content creators, but it's like it kind of gives an example of, I think this number, don't quote me, is like based on your average views and then like what it is. So this one's Brendan hit this one out of the ballpark here. Like 6 times as many views. Sorry to put you on the spot, Brendan, but you're dope. So there we go. But yeah, everybody loves Share Fable. But yeah, so that's just, I don't know. That's a random thing. Just wanted to answer that question there for you. Good question, because it is jarring when you see like random shit that is augmented over the screen that you don't normally see before. And you can never find good Chrome extensions. And you got to be careful with Chrome extensions. Random aside, TLDV, really kind of annoyed by them because they actually love, like, the product is good. It's if you don't know what TLDV is, it's like it's an AI kind of like meeting note taker where it records the meeting and everything like that, but then it also has the transcript and like an AI summary. I've been using it for a while. I like it. However, they've had recent like weirdness where like and Max had a good idea on Twitter to like just kind of silo it to certain domains and everything like that, which is totally valid. But at the same time, like, why are we fucking up CSS? Like it messed up the CSS on like Google products, like the Google Drive, like icon and stuff like that was all like messed up. The search was all weird. And then I found out it was that, and then they fixed that, I think. And then like randomly, this is way worse, okay? Randomly in WordPress. You know how like when you go to WordPress and you click on posts, then you have like, let's say you have 100 posts or something in there, and you start scrolling on certain ones. I don't know if it was pages or posts, but it was only certain ones. When I started scrolling, the actual whole table there wouldn't move. Just like the scroll bar was only as far as like the admin bar, if you guys have ever gotten that, right? On the left side, or like the the sidebar there. So you scroll and it like you can't go anywhere. Like there's no screen this has nothing to do with screen options or anything like that. Like you couldn't get to the bottom to even go to the next page. And I'm like, this is a CSS problem. What plugin is fucking this up? It wasn't a plugin. It was a Chrome extension. So not really like a big deal, but a very like weird, confusing deal that I feel like shouldn't happen. Like, I don't understand how that should happen. Maybe there's a simple bug explanation for that, but that made me like, it's just like, I don't need more things, especially in that type of environment where you're that's messing that up. I don't need more things like wasting my time thinking like, oh, this is an issue that like maybe I caused. It's like, what? I mean, I technically did cause it, I guess, because I installed the Chrome extension. So be careful with the Chrome extensions that you install. And it's just like weird bugs. Like, I just don't get it. It's weird. Anyway, end of that rant. Yeah, got to talk to Rich too. Very, very talented guy. I've seen a lot of his stuff there. We want to see the website and the OnlyFans. Okay. Exactly. All right, thanks for sharing. I thought I was missing something. Yeah, you got to be careful with the security extensions. Don't just go randomly getting random Chrome extensions. Exceptions were Grammarly, yes, where. Yeah, good call. Least amount as possible. All right, we're almost here. Couple last things here. WordCamp. If anybody's going to WordCamp, definitely hit me up. I will be there. Schedule's getting packed, but yeah, I'm excited to go there. I'm excited to see a bunch of people. Some interesting side events and all that sort of stuff going on. That is in about 1 month now, so we're getting down to crunch time there. All right, so this is the executive producer portion of the show here, where Matt Medeiros sent me over some things that I know about, but I'm not well versed in. So obviously 6.7 release squad is ready. I guess assuming those are the people that are kind of like leading the charge, so to speak, on a lot of this. I do recognize some of these names. I'll drop these in here if you guys are interested. Where am I from? I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the United States. Jonathan Jernigan, pleasure to see you here, brother. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there as well. Hopefully we can chat and connect. Would love to, my man. Thank you so much for being here. Back to the Max here. Just shows how much power on a Chrome extension. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, honestly. You can just eject random stuff. I mean, it's cool, but it's wild. I don't know. Got to play around with that more, kind of silo some of those maybe. But yeah, so the release squad is ready. I feel like these are happening really like a lot, but maybe it's just because like I'm in this space now and I give more of a shit. I thought there's like 3 major releases. Is a 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, are those like major releases? Like per year or something? I thought I heard that, but again, this is good to see that the squad has assembled. I feel like it's like some sort of Avengers or something like that. So yeah, dope. And then we got over on WP Minute here, we have a vid, the EP today. I'm the EP today, the executive producer. There we go. We'll just leave that on there. The executive producer Matt Medeiros is here. But yeah, so over on the WP Minute, we had a article here by Eric Harkovac. Go ahead and use WordPress your way. I'm not gonna lie, I skimmed this because I was running around this morning. So I don't want to like misquote any of this, but you guys should go read this. And I think I'm gonna do what most people do and just read the headline and just assume. Just say like generally, I totally agree with this concept of like use WordPress your own way. I do think there's a lot of nuance to that, but you know, because I do think like every scenario that you could like pose for WordPress probably does have like a better and a slightly worse way. I do think that we have to be careful, and I'm not saying that this is what the article says. I'm just because I literally just read the headline. I will come back and give more thoughts. But I think at a high level, there are definitely like better ways and worse ways. And if we ever like stop thinking that there are better ways objectively to do things, some things are super subjective, but it's all nuance. Like everything is gray. I'm learning that. I'm learning that very quickly in life and in WordPress, that everything is gray. So there's an argument made that you can do it your own way. I just think that like objectively, a lot of times there is probably going to be like slightly better, ways that you can kind of do stuff. But at the end of the day, I guess do whatever you want, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. I have to have more of a formulated conversation to actually, I feel like, wrangle some opinions in my own mind about those types of things. But general sentiment, I definitely think is worthy there. Cool. Let's see what else we got here. Got some replies and yeah, cool. Okay, I think I'm caught up in the chat here. Sweet. All right, what do we got next here? Last one from our exec producer, and this one actually took a second. So this is a tweet from Matt Medeiros. I don't know why I just put a 3 in the chat. I tried to. Okay, I'm obviously just copying a 3. Sorry about that. There we go. So go check out this tweet from Matt over here. Video about like the new post thing. I actually went so far as to spin up a little environment here, or actually just edit one that I had going. And I downloaded the Gutenberg plugin, which I don't think I've ever done. And then I turned on this redesigned post dashboard. And then down here, I actually put in some Faker Press. First time using Faker Press, kind of cool. Just a little if you need some data or whatever. So I threw in some posts, and this is the new post dashboard. Now, there's a lot of things here. I think Brian Cords put some really thoughtful stuff on X that I did not get to read, but I just kind of saw in passing about kind of the new vibe over here. So let's just take a quick gander, okay? Everyone's used to this. I actually don't have a fucking problem with it. Honestly, like I really don't. Like it's easy. It's whatever. Like maybe that makes me like a boomer. But I don't have a problem with this. Like this is fine. It's not great by any means, but I don't know if this is the problem. You know, like I don't know if like this would be my top thing. It's cool. Like I'm all for modernization. But the one thing I would say is that, and I'm not saying this is happening right here. I would just say like the one thing in my mind to me is I don't want to create more complexity when I'm modernizing UIs. Like I don't have an iPhone, but the iPhone to me is like one of the most confusing fucking UIs and UXs I've ever dealt with. I go to my wife's phone. I'm like, where the hell is everything? Like they went from so simple and they went so complex, and the way in which they did it, it just confuses the shit out of me. Now maybe it's just because I don't use it. Very, 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 very possible. But I just think that still like the intuitiveness is whatever. Now, not trying to compare Apple, iOS to WordPress here, but I don't have a problem with this personally. So, but let's see kind of like what we got here. So this is experimental. You have to do the Gutenberg plugin right now, and you have to turn it on right now to kind of see this. So I don't know. This is definitely not like the end all be all of any of this. Right away, this reminds me of an inbox. I don't use that side by side view. I use Gmail, and I have the other way, the long way, and you click and you just see the whole thing. But I know like you can do it there, and you can also do it in Outlook. This immediately reminds me of like an email inbox, which could be triggering for some people because I don't I don't know how much you like being in your email or not. This probably isn't going to work properly. I'm not sure what's going on. This is probably a me issue. I had like grade installed on this just dev environment, and then I just put 2024 on, and then I have this now. So something to consider. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to see anything, but obviously you'd be able to like, I guess the block editor will be over here or something. And you just like click in here and then start editing it, or I click this and then again, forget this part. This obviously would be like a full blog post. I did it with Faker Press, and maybe it does it a different way too. I just threw this stuff in here, but that's not the main point. The main point is you can get to this part easily, which is nice. And it's definitely more of like a modern experience. So I'll definitely give it points for that. I'm trying to think of the things that I'd want to do in here. I'd probably just want a list. Like I'm trying to like look over here and think of like what I want. Like I just don't do much. Like I click in, and this is weird because like normally these would be like custom post types, and I'm assuming with custom post types it would be the same general, like the same general flow, so to speak, at one point if this would get extrapolated out there, but I don't know for certain. I'm just trying to think of like what I really care about here. There's probably some really okay. Let's look at the table. Okay, so you go to table. That's cool. So that's whatever. That's back to the way it was. Okay. Never understand why we. I don't know where I'm at now. Just going back. Where are there views just for funsies? List. Okay, this is the list one. There's a grid one. I mean, I like the options. I hope that you can kind of set one or it just stays, because this is one of those situations where I'm not going to want to change this every time. So I'm hoping that would be a thing. Matt, I hope you're writing down GitHub issues as we do this, just so you can throw those in there. No, I'm just kidding. Anything else crazy here? Sort by date, title, author. It's definitely more modern. I mean, it's definitely items per page. I personally set my shit to be like 999. I don't want to paginate through simple data like this. So that is one thing that I would be annoyed by. I mean, I'm not sure how many times I have 100 posts. Rarely have 100 posts because I just haven't been like huge on the blogging, but definitely could have more than 100 custom post types, entries or whatever, whatever they would be. So I would that's annoying to me, or that's something that would be nice to be. How easily can you... Okay, can we not do that? My next things would be, can I reorder any of these? Maybe I can, actually. Wait a second. Okay, that's a very strange way to reorder. I think I see what they're doing here. That's not the worst thing in the world, but that's pretty annoying that it's just the way that you turn them on. I would rather just be able to just like move these like Excel things or whatever. That would be probably the next thing for me. Um, and I'm gonna tell you this honestly, like you can't do this here. Like the other big thing, like this is what everybody talks about right here. Like, this is gonna be your main pushback is I want to be able to inline edit some of these things, especially custom post types. This one that doesn't make too much sense, but I want to be able to inline edit this right here. Now there's probably a way to like, I don't know. Is there a way to, have we gotten rid of the quick edit option basically entirely now? I don't know. I'm thinking of this again more from a, not a blog post. Okay. Well, also, did my stuff just go away? I know this is an experiment, but I'm just saying, so I had those there and now they're gone. So we play around with this. We just have feature image. We go somewhere. We come back. It's gone. Obviously, maybe that's just an experiment. But again, I'm just trying to give my honest opinion on this. Publish, schedule drafts, pending, private. This to me, again, this is cool, but there's a lot of, like, I don't know how often you really have some of these things. Maybe if you were actually doing a full-blown thing, for sure, for some things. I don't know. I think it's all right. I think it's all right. We got to go to the chat now here. Hang on a second. Oh, good Lord, Jonathan says. I'm not sure exactly what that was referring to, but maybe just this in general. I see another comment down here saying, one sec. Mark, can you zoom in web browser? Sorry about that, chaps. Apple iOS is the code. Yeah, I don't know. It's very good. Yeah, real quick on this. I love what Apple has done with the ecosystem. I envy it to a slight degree, but I've been able to kind of like create something similar with Windows and Android. So, but no hate for Apple. I love what they've done. I just, like I said, I just a noob, I guess, when it comes with iOS. They're going for smart folders on the left, like macOS. So in the future, you can set filters and then save them on the left side. That is a cool idea. Definitely a cool idea. It's a cool idea. I'm trying to understand, like, again, I'm trying to extrapolate because I think that's what we have to do in this case. For posts, yeah, I'm really trying to think more from custom post types because, like, that is, like, to me, 70% of what I do, 80% of what I do versus just, like, actual posts. Which obviously they're very similar, but like the concepts and how you'd interact with them, how much you change stuff, you'll see it on the website here. Like there's just a lot there. So I'm thinking that, I don't know if maybe like that's cool. Like I'd want to filter them here, but what would I be filtering them for? Am I filtering just to see them? And then am I going to bulk edit them? I'm not sure. Feel free to do it your way, but let's not pretend all the methods are equal. There's a good way, there's a better way, and there's a best way to do things. Yeah. I mean, I think it's very, there's some objectivity to it. There's a lot of subjectivity, and you'd have to have extremely specific conversation. This is the biggest problem that we have. We have to have extremely specific conversations, and sometimes it's just not worth it because we also have to do work and make money. So I think that is extremely true. It's just like, does it end up happening? I don't know. I try to be as specific as possible with some of the stuff that I do, but obviously I'm definitely guilty of generalizations and stuff like that as well. And I don't know. Is this his new site? No, Derek. We're 2 seconds away from that. Just wanted to get this in here. Bulk editing categories, maybe that's how I do it. That screen, except click into the edit the post content. Yeah. I don't even know, like bulk editing categories of specific ones. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. What do we got here? Do we have other? Oh, so there's some filters up here, and then you can search and everything like that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would say it's a step in the right direction. We'll see if I'm sure there's many people giving way better feedback than me because, like I said, the post thing is I'm slightly less in posts. I'm much more in the same UI, so to speak. Like custom post types and posts look exactly the same now. But I'm telling you that, like, inline, if you had a ton of I'll show you in a second. If you had a ton of like things in your inline, you would want something like Admin Columns Pro or Jet Engine has the functionality to like make more and change different fields, change different columns and stuff. But the secondary thing that Jet Engine can't do, but Admin Columns Pro can, is like edit directly inline. So those types of things, I know this is an experiment right now, but those types of things are where I would love to see it. You'll also be able to create your own views through native data views feature. I mean, again, I love that. I'd have to think of some examples. I think that would be awesome. Check the live demo. Where's that at? Somebody tell me where that's at. Sorry, I was distracted. This looks like an inbox. It gives me anxiety. I don't care for it. I said that. I knew Brendan was going to say that. You can change the views. Fair point there, though. You can change that view, and apparently you can make even other things. This better not be the etch beta. I do not think this is the etch beta. I never like UI changes, even when they turn out to be better. So we'll hold final judgment. Yeah, I mean that's a good point, though. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that are like that, and I don't disagree with it because nobody likes to change. Unfortunately, I think we can't. This is a really important point. We can't. I'm not saying like we as in like me and you, Brendan, or whatever, but like in general, like we all can't call for change and then also reject the shit that happens. So I'm very like in on that. We can absolutely be critique the changes though. Kind of like what I'm doing now. Like I truly think that, what we've seen here so far, and I'm sure I've just scratched the surface. There's more stuff and I didn't read everything and look at everything. I think this is definitely way more modern. Objectively, it's way more modern. Do I think it's like better overall? As long as it has the same features, can do the same things, and we're not like, oh, I see a bulk edit button now. I didn't even see that earlier. I'm not seeing how to bulk edit anything though, but I can delete them. I know you can't see this right now. I'm just looking. But anyway, as long as we can do the same shit. Like when you do a UI change, the worst part about a new UI, is when you release the UI and you can't just do the same things that you could do before. My opinion, worst thing you possibly do. Now you're pissing people off because you're changing the way that things look, maybe the way things are, where they're at, and they can't do this stuff before. I had this happen. I think with Cloudways, they changed the UI. The UI looked nicer, but like then you'd have to go. Oh, Facebook. Facebook was the biggest guilty party of that. You'd have to go back and actually use the classic mode to do like. Obviously, Facebook's huge. As long as they don't do that, I think that's the cardinal sin of changing UI stuff. Everything else, it starts to get a little subjective, and over time, if you care enough and you're like just decent enough at the platform and you want to stay there, then you will figure it out. I'm not worried about it changing. I just want to make sure that the things are there, and hopefully it's getting better too. Would be ideal. The regular list view does seem nice. Yeah, 100%. There's table, list. There's all sorts of stuff. I think. Well, the one thing is I would say I think the list. The naming might be weird. The list view is actually that inbox view. They should just call it inbox. You want to just, no, just kidding. I don't know, but I don't know. But yeah, okay. Again, everybody, round of applause for our executive producer, Matt Medeiros. Really appreciate those. Excited to see where everything continues to go here. So yeah, all right, guys. I know you're anxious for this. I know I've teased you for an entire hour here about this. So let's just take a look at some of this stuff. And if you have any questions, hashtag Q it in the chat. This is not, I want to preface this by saying this is not done by any means. It's not even fully released yet. There's still like a cover over it. It's just my link thing. But you guys are here. I really appreciate you all being here. And I'm going to give you a look inside of my mind on how I built this website and kind of everything that we thought about here. All right, where do I begin? If you guys have questions along the way, please let me know, because I'm just going to kind of riff and rant on what you see and maybe what's to come, because I really like this. I really enjoy making websites, but I enjoy making websites when I actually know what I'm making the website about, and obviously I know who I am. Well, that's a loaded question, but I know like about me, and like I know like what I can provide and all these different ideas and stuff like that. We're just starting to scratch the surface with some of these things. And I've also had the extreme benefit and pleasure to learn directly from other people in the space that have done this before me. Nothing you're seeing here is like, again, like crazy groundbreaking or like super innovative. I'm not sending rockets out to space and landing them back on, in the water, like on a thing in the water. Like that's not what I'm doing here. But I just, I needed something, and this is kind of where we're headed here. So the concept is, the reason that I needed a website was because I've had websites in the past that have been very generalized. Since I've been building websites, mine was like the first one that I had, my personal brand website. I think everyone should have a personal brand website, even if it's just like a one-page simple thing, because you need to have like it's the one thing that you can control. We all dive into social media and we're like building up our social media profiles, and it's like, well, you know, anybody could kick you off at any time, or just anything could happen. Algorithms could change. Definitely, obviously, we don't. I don't have to tell you guys that. That's why we're on this industry. But I think personally, though, this is one thing that's always resonated with me. And I'm absolutely. I also want to say I'm absolutely not a designer. If anybody has design ideas, let me know or whatever. But definitely not. I'm just like trying to piece together a bunch of different things that that I've seen, that I've liked, and do as good of a job as I can. So this is kind of our MVP. The concept as a whole is to sell myself, my expertise, and just have one place to kind of provide as much value as possible to get people to either currently, at minimum, just sign up for the newsletter, which is barely a newsletter because it's kind of just me explaining when I'm going live and when I'm doing different things, which I think is still valuable, but like I'd like to provide even more value there, and kind of talk and channel people over obviously to the YouTube channel and all those sorts of things, because I think there is, you know, a lot of value to be provided there. So we got our homepage, which is just kind of like me. You have to have your face. I feel like you have to have your face on your personal brand website. The copy too is kind of like so far. I like to talk about WordPress. That's true. Is that the best line? I don't know. But call to actions are stay in the loop, subscribe on YouTube. Everything is built like too. I'll tell you about the tech stack here. Like everything is built with. We can kind of go through a little bit of that real quick before we dive in. It's pretty much the tech stack that you would expect, and the tech stack that I'll show you kind of more on the front end, because this website is kind of like built with and then going to display a lot of the stuff that it's built with, so to speak, in some way. So we'll go through a lot of this. But if you go to plugins, you're going to see a lot of like familiar things, some things that like I'm testing and trying to do different stuff with and all that sort of stuff. We got Advanced Themer, ACSS. We got Bento. Shout out Bento. Fantastic email marketing solution. Conversion Bridge that I'm kind of like trying out. Derek Ashauer, great plugin if you need multiple analytics tools, or if you just want to have everything in one place. Obviously it's not released yet, so I don't really have that fully worked up there yet. Frames. I like Frames. I use Frames. I'm just not incredibly good at using Frames, because Kevin goes to an immense amount of detail in the way that he builds stuff and the way that he uses CSS to fine tune things incredibly well, and I'm just not to his caliber of CSS. So I'll be like, I'll put a frame in, I'll be like, fuck, how is this not working? And then I'm like, oh, it's probably in the CSS tab. Go over there. So a lot of amazing layouts there and everything like that. For more simpler things, I tend to just kind of just whip them up real quick myself. But there's a ton of amazing stuff there. So obviously you guys know about Frames. Happy Files Pro, it's pretty much a must until we get that new media library that I saw one time and not sure where it's at. Jet Engine, that's my one of choice. I went back and forth on Jet Engine versus ACF, truthfully, on this one. I actually do have ACF Pro, and I don't even know if I have it installed on anything. And I just like Jet Engine for so many reasons. And the fact that Bricks, it's one of like the Bricks, Elementor, and Gutenberg are the ones that Crockablock integrates with natively. I'm just used to it, and I really like it. And there's only very, very small use cases where I found ACF to be like better from that way. So I don't know. I'm just still kind of in the middle there. I feel like it's the one for me right now. NGX Helper, that's a grid pane. We're on grid pane. And Vulture, that's kind of just like something that kind of comes standard. It helps. It helps. We have perf matters, but honestly, I mean, dude, like I don't even know if I need perf matters on like most of the brick sites that I make, but I have it. It does definitely help on some of the legacy Elementor ones that I have, so that's something that's kind of interesting. Jonathan says I'm swole. Yeah, I was just kind of like puffing out the biceps there with the cross arm thing. I think that might have helped. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. So also I'm missing the chat here now. Okay, scroll up. Hang on one second. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a minute. Perf Matters, Rank Math SEO, just the one that I have of choice. I've heard really good things about like Slim SEO and all sorts of other ones recently too. Rank Math has been good to me thus far. Object Cache is kind of another. Like a grid pane type thing. Short pixel image optimizer. I need to like get a little bit better with my flow here. I've been doing a lot of it outside of the website, which I think is nice, because I've done a very, very good job. You will see on some of these things of trying to keep the shit extremely compressed, extremely fast, like really care about like the site speed, not really just for the site speed, but just the amount of shit that I have on here, not throwing up like huge big pictures or anything. Because I can control it all, and like there's a lot of media so far, which again maybe could be, I don't know if APIs could help me in any sort of way as I continue to evolve this and other ones. But Short Pixel is they actually have like a really generous optimizer just on their website that I've kind of been using. It compresses and then it generates the WebP right there. You can just download and throw on there. If you wanted to do it directly on your site, I'm sure you could like pay them and play around with that. I have it on there, but I just never really used it necessarily here yet, so might end up getting rid of that. Obviously, WS Form Pro and then the Bento add-on are the ones that I'm rocking there. Really excited just to continue to see the development of WS Form Pro. Mark Westgard is a wizard. So yeah, it's working really well. Anything else you guys want to see back here? Let me look at some of the comments here real quick. Talked about that one. Brennan's got the lovey eyes. Appreciate you, dog. Is this site to get buff as hell? Because brother, you're selling it. It's not really for that. That's not really the main one. But yeah, we'll zoom in again there, Derek. Yep, 100%. Sorry about that, buddy. Jet Engine is so good. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of. They do an incredible job at Crockablock. I've been a user for a while. Probably gonna do some content and stuff like that for them. I mean, it's just. There's just a lot of stuff that's really good. So it's no knock on ACF Pro either. I mean, because ACF is solid and it's tried and true, and it's lovely that they have the free variant, which Jet Engine doesn't. But yeah, I've just been rocking it for a while. So I love this. It's not particularly unique, but it creates trust. In my honest opinion, you look better on the webcam. You look better on the webcam than in that photo. Is that true? I hope that's the case because these are the things I actually took. Funny part is with that photo, I took these pictures, and then I also have some like more professional stuff that like I'm doing. I might get even more. You guys would not believe though, like the amount of shit that you have to do as like somebody that wants to put their face on the internet all over the place. I mean, there's just, it's like you see it all the time. It's like sometimes you have content creators that have like every photo all the time of themselves. It doesn't help that my wife literally never takes any pictures of me. It's just, but yeah, it's like you have all this video content, but you gotta like get pictures from it. I know I'm ranting here a little bit, but that is literally the life that I lead. You have to either like schedule a time for it, you got to do it yourself, or you just have the same picture everywhere, and it's a nightmare. So yeah, we got to work on that. But yeah. Also, I would love to get this camera quality up higher, but Restream is kind of throttles it a little bit. I think the headline would be better. Something more specific, like professional WordPress developer talking about WordPress seems too beginner podcasters. Yeah, I definitely don't disagree with that. The trouble with that is that while I am doing, and we can go back over here again, if you guys have specific questions, let me know because I'm just gonna be bopping around here. The trouble with that is I actually just don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like I don't know what I'm doing entirely. I have too many ideas. I know I can execute. I believe I can execute on a ton of them. I just don't know. And as we continue to go through this, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Tiny screen, MacBook Pro, got you. I'm with you, Derek. I'm kind of blind. Mark has that 4K screen, I think. Oh, this is a big boy. This is a super ultra wide Samsung 49-inch, two screens together. And this is really wide. Like that's the other thing too, is let me scroll out for just a second because this is strange. Like you see how much like not gutter, but like well, I guess gutter padding on each side. Like that's because it is huge. So that is actually quite jarring when like I see that and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of white space there. But it's like most people are not going to see it like that. They're probably going to see it, way more reasonable if they're on smaller screens. So yeah. Is my thing flickering? Oh yeah, it's the video down there. Okay. All right, so let's just go through this. Why don't we? And then you guys tell me what I should change and all that jazz. If this is good, let me know. I think we should be good. Zoomy wise. So yeah, we got the kind of the hero here. As far as call to actions, again, like stay in the loop. Let me get rid of some of these things, and we'll go kind of step by step here. So stay in the loop is literally just a newsletter. Get my WordPress emails, do all that jazz. Really cool. Right now I don't have it set up because this is just on the front end, or we just have that kind of like links page up. But when you go through here, Bento has a nice little thing, like most things. You're gonna go here, then you're gonna go to another page. It's gonna say verify email. You're going to get an email. You're going to click that. You're going to come back to the website, and then it's going to know. All done with flows and everything like that through Bento. Pretty sick. Love it, and it just works. So yeah, we got that. That's nothing super special, but it does the job. We scroll down. So I really a couple problems. One, I'm extremely bad at designing. That's the first problem. Second problem is that I have a picture here that cuts off at my waist, so I need to like kind of like make it, you know, a little visual that I'm like sitting behind something or standing behind something. So I needed to have this, you know, like a different background here or whatever on this section. And then I thought like I wanted to do one of those like you know, kind of like have you seen me type things, or those you know, just what you're seeing here, the company logos. So like have you seen me, whatever. WP Unit, WP Tonic, Brand Science, Geary.co, Speed Build Challenge, maybe more to be there. I don't anticipate this being like this forever. However, if you are a content creator or you ever do the stuff that like, you know, kind of I'm doing here, I've never seen anybody do this. I'm sure somebody has, but I never saw it. This link right here goes out to a, not just the link part, but like this, what I'm talking about. If you're a content creator and you're going on other people's channels, make a playlist and put all of those videos. You can put other people's playlists, videos in a playlist. I have every video that I've been on somebody else's channel in this playlist. And then I just have it called my guest appearance on other channels, right? So you can go check that out if you want. And then this is all the guest appearances that I've had. And then for now, I just linked to this playlist. I'm always going to have it on YouTube and I'll manage it there. What I would like to do is kind of bring it more in-house on the website side and have actual individual singles for all that. But we are not at the video stage yet because Brandon needs to teach me how to bring it in. so that's the one part of it that that I didn't even get to that yet because I don't want to play with that just too much yet. So we're playing around with that. Choice paralysis. You need a copywriter. Yeah, just need to probably have somebody. Maybe I'll pay Chad GPT. He's French. The design is not terrible. Thank you for that awesome compliment there, Derek. I really appreciate it. Okay, so we have that section there, and again, this is zoomed in now, so it's looking a little weird on my screen, but I think it's okay. So then this section is, again, we talked about the dynamic data course. I'm really proud of it, and I want people to know more about it. So this auto plays actually, I think, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but this auto plays. As you're scrolling down the page, you can get the course for free. It's just going to take you, again, for now, just straight over to the YouTube playlist. So I don't like that I'm driving people away, but I am driving them to like kind of my content. So this is an MVP. What can I say? But yeah, there's different ways to do that. I can get people to sign up for the newsletter or whatever, but it is what it is for now. And then, so this is the next part where like, I'm, you know, as far as you're thinking like call to actions, the first thing we had was like sign up for the newsletter or subscribe on YouTube. You can go look at some of this other stuff down here. Like, do you need like specialized help? I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but like I offer one-on-one consulting. I've done it for, you know, a handful of people at this point, and it's all been great. We've had fantastic feedback here. And these are just this is a frame, just like little snippets and everything like that. I can show you how I did this. Actually, I think that might be kind of cool because this is dynamically looped. These are set to random order, so they're not always in the same order every time. I don't even know if they're always the same ones. But what I did there is I went and I created a testimonials CPT, and then I have all the testimonials here. Like each testimonial is a person, and then each testimonial. Let's show you here. So like each testimonial, like this would be a name, and then the call out quote would be what you just saw there that I could use in different places, and then the type is either a screenshot or it's full. The reason I put screenshot is because I've seen so many people do this. Brendan is one of them. Really powerful to sometimes just post a damn screenshot of like a YouTube comment or just like a DM or something. Get permission for like DMs and stuff, but like just really, really powerful. So like I have that as an option, either a screenshot or full, and then I can use those kind of however I want with the data. What I'm showing you right here is the fucking antithesis of like content management. Like if you think like this, your life is gonna be so much better. It's gonna be worse because you're gonna have way more ideas, but it's gonna be so much better that you're not like manually moving shit around and like laying out stuff like on pages. This is so awesome to me that I can just like, this is actually where I love to live, is the data part of it and just like kind of the creating everything. Because I feel like if I had an incredible database, so to speak, like the CMS portion where everything like makes sense, is logical, and you can utilize data however you want, then I could give this to anybody on the front end and just be like, hey, go build something cool. Or like I could go build something cool. It's easier. Or I could have somebody design it for me and then I could backfill everything with dynamic data. So that's just kind of the way that I think about it. And the other one here is like full, obviously put the headshot in, their company name, website URL, full testimonial, stuff like that. And then we use those as we need on the front end. And in one of those ways is these little call outs here. Yeah. And then they can either book a call with me directly, which this, again, this is an MVP. I don't like that we're going to Calendly right here. I really hate Calendly in some ways. I love Calendly for all the tech. I hate the way that it works from a lack of embedding perspective. I mean, you can embed it in Typeform. I'm not going to use Typeform to fucking do this. I have all these other things. Like you can embed it potentially like directly into your website. It's just the UI is ass. It's way like Jonathan, if Jonathan's still here, like did a fantastic video on Fluent Booking. I talked to him about that. I made a video like slightly kind of like talking about him, and because I'm like I just want to find a tool for booking that is like really good, and I know of like 10 of them and I've tried them all, and they're like there's just like little things here and there that I don't like, and I don't want to take them to another URL for that. I want them to stay here. I could do it like really, really natively with like a WooCommerce or a SureCart or something, but then there's just so many other pieces because those tools aren't specifically kind of built for that. I think Adam actually in the Sure team is coming out with something, so I'm gonna keep my eye on that. But just if you're thinking about booking stuff, like Calendly is very, very, very good in so many ways. With the syncing, makes it everything really easy. You never have a calendar issue. It's just more of the if we could just get a better way to integrate it with like WordPress and things like that, that would be fantastic. But it's obviously more of a universal tool than that. Last thing we have here, other than just like a simple, very simple footer down here, is we go to our learn more to our consulting page, which I'll get to that because we'll just go through the menu here. Real quick, while we're on the footer, I will show you how I just did the policies. It's absolutely nothing special. It's Termageddon. Well, actually, this one, affiliate and sponsorship policy, is written by me because I think that's very important to have. But like cookie policy and disclaimer and everything like that, these are in here with like just the embed snippets, and these are all custom post types policies is what I call them. So I go policies, and then you can just go back to policies. I'm a really big fan of this, and I'm giving you a lot of random little gold like nuggets or just opinions. I'm a really big fan of making your CPT plural, and then your like slug plural, and then because someday someone is going to go here. They're gonna do this. I do this all the time where I want to go back to like the thing that like you have tools / whatever. I want to go back and just be here. And if you don't make this plural, then what are you going to do? Make a page, or it's going to be like policy. That might be the standard most of the time now, but I just put up a poll yesterday on X, and I was like, do you do taxonomies as plural or singular? And I will get into why I made that that poll, and just like was questioning that because that's a slightly different scenario. But anyway, so policies aren't exciting or anything like that, but that is what we're doing. Would highly recommend this though, and I'll shout out again Jonathan Jernigan because he is the guy that I saw that he did something beautiful like this for like sponsored content policy, and I haven't seen too many people do it like just extremely candidly and nice like that. So that's what drove me to do that as well. So I would highly recommend that because people need to know if you're making content, people need to understand like why you're making content, what you want to do, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. The eyes are not my cup of tea. Yeah, it's the little emoji, not for everyone. I feel that. I don't know why this thing's flickering down here when I do this, but yeah. What else we got? Sorry, I missed it. Did you use frames? I used frames for some of the stuff. So I used frames for like this section here. I used frames for some other spots that we'll talk about and everything like that. I will add that even on my 27-inch UD screen, some of the text can seem very small for future reference. I see it on Kevin G's videos all the time. Yeah, very weird resolution situations. So how did you display the testimonial CPT? Can you show an overview? For sure. Right here. Now I may need to zoom out of this slightly just to kind of see here. Let me know if you guys can't see anything. But down here, so all I did here was, this was a frame, which I think I renamed, I guess, yeah. All right, so let's take a look here. All right, so this is I mean, it's a simple frame. It's not really like crazy layout or whatever, but you have your like your grid, and I'm not gonna pretend to know how Kevin did any of this stuff. Okay, so this is a I'm not sure which one this is, but if you go to frames, you can find whatever frame this one, and just type in like testimonial, I think, or something like that. But I did make it. It was already query loopable, but I did that part of it obviously. So you go to the list item, you have a testimonial like quote card or whatever, and then in your query loop specifically, I think this is the question, is in bricks specifically. And you could, I mean, obviously if you're using frames, you'd pretty much like only be here or like associated builders or whatever. But in anything that is query loopable should have an option to randomize the order. So we have posts, we have testimonials as our post type, and then order by random. Now I do that just because like I don't want to see the same exact thing every single time, and this is super inconsequential. Just to kind of spice it up. The problems that you could run into would be like some of these are longer than the other ones. So it's like maybe the flow ends up looking weird. But I think again, like kind of the way that the frame is built and everything like that, you're not going to have like anything like super weird happen. Like it's not going to wrap or anything. You just might not have like, you see how like these have 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. Like it's just because of the length of those like individual little, quote cards or whatever. But then I limited to 15 and yeah, and this is all. This is a really really cool feature that Bricks thought of, like time and minutes that the random seed will last. I guess that means like by default, like if I load it right now, it's gonna stay random for 60 minutes. Like it's gonna load this order and it's gonna keep that for 60 minutes, and then if I refresh in an hour and a half, it'll do it again. Kind of cool. I hadn't seen that before, but yeah, I mean to answer that question, I think that's all I did there, just for the random piece. Fluent Booking is actually a pretty solid option. Yeah, no, I played around with it, Paul. Thank you for being here, man. At very first, there was some sort of issue with I couldn't authorize my Google. I couldn't log into Google, and it might have been like a weird like hosting grid pane issue. Playing around with it, but then I think I did get it. I think I still have a single license to it. It might be the LTD, so I'll have to play around with it again. I'm trying to remember. You know what? I made that video and I kind of like looked at a couple things. The problem, I think if I'm remembering, the problems were just very simple stuff that like quality of life things that like Calendly doesn't have. And I'm thinking in my mind like what's worse? Sending them to a like Calendly page, embedding it like kind of rough versus having to rebuild over in Fluent and not having some of the quality of life. I'll give you a very specific example, and maybe they have it now, but I don't think they do. Calendly just released something in the last 6 months that is like stupid, simple, but nobody ever had, from what I know. Holidays. Like they just have all of the holidays listed, and you automatically check a box, and it's like I don't work on Thanksgiving. Check it off, like and it'll black it out for you, rather than having to be in your calendar and like make sure that you're managing the busy versus the free times and everything like that. So just a really small quality of life thing that I appreciate. And Calendly has a lot of that stuff because they've just been doing that part for a while. Again, just but 100% agree though. I have to look into Fluent again to see if it can do what I want to do. Also, another random thing, just while we're on the topic, I also have a crazy ass calendar structure that I'm trying to do every single time. And I think Fluent Booking can do it, but this is another one. Like I have a personal Gmail that has my personal events linked to it. That personal Gmail is shared with my wife's personal Gmail, where we have a shared calendar there. So we're already talking 2 layers. Then I have my Szymanski media, like my Mark Szymanski stuff, like my basically markszymanski.co email. So that's another layer. Then I have my findittech.com email, which is another layer. And then I might have another one. Like I might have like my wife's layer in there, my wife's personal thing. So we can all see everything. And so my point is like when you have all those layers, you got to be able to connect them, which a lot of platforms won't let you do. And then Fluent does, I think, but like a lot of other ones. And then the other thing is you also have to be able to like not just connect them all, but also only check the ones that you want to check and only write to the calendar that you want to write to. Calendly just does that as the best, like that anybody does. So again, I'm not trying to sell Calendly. I'm just trying to say that those are all the things that are going through my mind when I'm picking a damn booking form. It's probably why I have booking form commitment issues. So yeah, but good question there. Let me not leave that just yet. What do we got here? Derek, I recommend using a contact form and giving then giving legitimate people your Calendly link. In my experience, bad people have abused the calendar access feature. 100%. However, you're not getting on my calendar without paying me. Like that is well, I mean, I'm not saying you're not. Okay, I'm not saying that. But I am saying that like with the consulting thing specifically, with when we're booking a call, like you're booking it and you're paying through Calendly right here, right there. So you don't even set the appointment up without doing that. And if I was doing consulting specifically, if I was offering consulting like this, regardless if it was Calendly or anything else, it would be a paid to get on the calendar because you're actually picking a spot on my calendar that is currently free because of the way that the sync is and everything like that. And you're booking that spot for whatever it is. So that part has worked really well, but I totally agree. Do not just give out free access to your calendar because I get 45 emails and LinkedIn cold DMs, which I'm sure those people are great, but I know that's all just fake garbage that, or just, it's just like automated, like drip campaign stuff for all those. And yeah, just delete a lot of that. And if they had access to my calendar, they would definitely just take it. So yeah. What about WS Form payments? I haven't really tried that for scheduling. So great question. I've talked to Mark Westgard, and I know that they're in a big transition right now with like the styling of WS Form and all that. So I don't think, Brendan, that he is. I talked to him specifically about, hey, are you going to do like Google Calendar sync, which is like absolutely necessary for me because I don't want to have to like reschedule bookings or anything like that, or even schedule them at all. Like I don't want to have like, I mean, unless I had somebody do that for me, I don't want to, I'm just trying to automate that as much as possible. And the Calendly thing works for that. But if there was a solution that involved WS Form and just, any sort of payment gateway, Stripe, QuickBooks, whatever, I'm totally down for that. I don't think it's 100% there. I think it's another situation. It's like, it would work, but there's some drawbacks. I don't know. The legal policies page is genius. Thank you. If we're just talking about slash policies, yeah, I mean, it's just the archive. Very, 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 very straightforward. I think my Termageddon policies include affiliate information. Yeah, they definitely do. This thing isn't done. But again, like I said, I got this great idea from Jonathan, and this is like me telling you my thoughts on this, and it's not done, okay? But it's like I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna shill shit to you. I'm not gonna let people look at this stuff before they like. If somebody pays me to make a video, I'm gonna tell you that this is sponsored, and I'm not gonna let them like look at it before and all that sort of stuff. So it's like kind of like my credo. If you've ever seen what's it called? We're the Millers. It's my credo of like sponsored content, affiliate content, things like that is kind of my thought process there. But yes, it definitely, the disclaimer or something definitely has affiliate information in there. Faux show. I feel like I should be planning scheduling more, but I'm just going in blind for the APIs and stuff. Dude, you're a G, man. I see. That's cool. Appreciate that. Always open design. Not exactly sure what we were talking about, but appreciate you. Unfortunately, I have to leave soon. Derek, appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you so much. Holidays are tricky to code them because most of them are different dates. Yeah, it's tough, but they took care of that and everything like that. Tidy Cal has that. Cool. Must be have an unusual surname, but damn, it's a bitch to type the URL. So yeah, so that is another great point. I know we're all over the place, and we'll continue to get back to this. But that's the other point is. So I made the decision to shorten it actually used to be markjosephsmancy.com, which is kind of cool because it was .com. I don't know if you guys were in any of the groups or whatever when I was trying to change my domain name, but I decided marksmancy.co is fine. Nobody can spell that, SZY part. Totally understand. But here's what I tell people when I go on websites or, podcasts or whatever. If I ever say it, I just say mjs.bio. And then mjs.bio currently and always will lead you to marksmancy.co/links. And then this is like my link. I built this, just with like I don't know if it was a frame or just did it myself. I don't know. I'll probably redo it because it probably sucks, like design wise or whatever on the back end or whatever. But my point is that this is like my link in bio thing, which there's 1,000,001 link in bio things that you could do now, which I'm really not sure why anybody's using those if you can build a website, because just make a page on your website. I don't get it, but instead of paying for something and being limited or whatever. But anyway, I made this. I think Nick RC also has a really good template that I think is free on his website. You should go check it out. It's like link in bio or whatever. But And there's a frame for it and all that. But I just made something real simple. And this is /links on my website. But I have mjs.bio as a domain name, and I'm redirecting it to here. And then the concept will be anytime I'm saying anything, I'm just saying, hey, just go type in mjs.bio. And I could change that to whatever, but that's as simple as I could find. It's just my initials. And then you come here. And then you quickly get here, and then you're able to see, like, I don't know if these will change over time, but like if you want to, need help with a website, you go out to Find a Tech. All my socials are here. If you go to, this will end up going to, like, one of these will end up going directly to my marksmancy.co. One of them go consulting or whatever. Again, you guys get this. You can make these calls to action, whatever you want. People are used to seeing this stuff. So then you can go see it, and you can do whatever you want. And then you can also maybe do the newsletter here. I don't know. It'll change. But my point is that's my current use case. And it actually worked right now because I was able to have this as like the template, the coming soon template for my website. That's what you see right now. If you go in and type in mjs.bio, this is what you'll land on. And you can't go to any of the other stuff right now, which is obviously not the best, but it's also the, it's where I'm at right now with the specific, like, kind of flow and everything. But yeah, just giving you the concepts there. Paywall, 100%. Cold emails suck, 100%. What is your last name? Polish, Italian. So I'm pretty much like 75% Italian, but my last name is like Polish in origin. Yeah. So I think it's like Szymański or something. I don't know, but I just say Szymański. I'll show you that in a second too. Yeah, Google tells me it's Polish. Peace, bro. Derek, appreciate you being here, brother. Thanks so much. Okay, so let's go through just some of the rest of this stuff here. Let's get rid of all this stuff here. If we have any more questions, definitely let me know. And we're going to wrap up here in probably the next 10 or so. Okay. All right, so what do we got here? We talked about this. We talked about all that sort of stuff. Let's go to About. So About is just a little bit about me. I kind of did this thing where I have like the page title up here, and then I have like, this is like more of a, a custom like blurb about like what this is. Copy, whatever. My concept here is the About page is literally about me. It has nothing to do with like WordPress specifically. I mean, it will have some stuff to do with WordPress, but not like anything specific. So I have like kind of these different like little factoids and everything like that. Kind of got that idea. If this was a frame, kind of got that idea from kind of what Kevin has over on his website as well. Also on this page, I kind of want to have like kind of who I am a little bit, and then like kind of like some my story thing or whatever. Definitely just my story, because I think like I want to have one place where I can have all this stuff on there and everything like that. Random. I'm not sure if I did it on this page or a different page. I think I did it on the different page. I'll show you that. But I made like a little custom function to display my current age. So that was fun. Obviously, this is my birthday, but like there's somewhere where I put like 28 years old, and that's dynamically going to update, which I always wanted to do in Elementor, and I didn't like I probably could have done it, but it wasn't as easy, and I just didn't want to do it. Didn't want to deal with it. So yeah, did that straight up. Cool. All right, media kit. This isn't really important again for me. Maybe it's not important for everybody, but I think if you have a business, you should have some level of a press page at least. Media kit's really important because it shows people like what you have, like, as far as like maybe some of your stats and stuff, but at the bare minimum, like quick facts, headshots and photos, or logos is incredibly important. And then if you have a bio or like an origin story for your business, really, really, really highly would recommend. I made a video, nobody watched it, about brand assets page. It's really important. I am so annoyed to hell and back when I go to a big brand and I can't find their goddamn logo really easy. And then you have somebody like Perplexity that Max Zeibel just tweeted, I saw, where you just right-click the logo and you can download the brand kit anywhere on the website. Absolutely unbelievably incredible idea. I wish more people would be more, I want to promote your product, which you will see here as an example in the tools section. It's like, a lot of them are good, but like some of them, it's like, just give me your logo in an SVG that doesn't have any fucking white space around it. Why is that so difficult? It's crazy. Anyway, rant over. Quick facts. So this is that thing that I was talking about here. This is just a little quick, just like a little function, just to kind of do my current age. So that's completely dynamic. Location. This, I don't know if you guys are able to hear this.
Mark Szymański.
I don't know if you heard that, but also like I recorded that, and then I did a little JavaScript thing just to kind of like pronounce my name, just because again it is like slightly difficult. So that's a cool thing. Highly recommend that too. depending on what your business is or what your name is. Like that's another cool little tiny thing. I'm sprinkling in random little shit that I think is kind of like cool or fun. Again, not necessarily innovative, but something cool. Someone recommended Simply Static for me the other day. Any thoughts about the concept? Brendan O'Connell, potentially still in the chat, is your man for that. I'll give you the high level. Like a static website is like, I guess, kind of like no CMS, basically. Like you don't need to change a lot of things. It really depends on what you're doing, from what I understand. I would not, for what I'm doing here, I don't think it makes any sense. For if you don't want to change a lot of things, if you just want a simple website that isn't going to have like a ton of maybe I guess it would have like a contact form, but it's not going to have like a blog or any custom post types or anything that you're going to like be in there changing a lot. I think that is who that is really good for, but don't quote me because I don't know. I don't think I drank one sip of water this whole time. I'm surprised I can still talk. All right, headshots and photos. Now this one, the design is whatever. I know my face is real big here. But this one I'm like proud of in a sense of because I've wanted to do this stuff for a long time. What this is I'll show you the way that I built this here. So I have a brand assets custom post type. Okay. Each one of these is his own little entry in there and everything, right? And then if we go to like add a new one, I just have a name for that thing, and then I have spaces here for each one of the file types, right? And what happens is, I don't know if you've ever seen this on websites. I think I actually saw it maybe the one other time, funny enough, that I saw this was over on Elementor's like brand assets page, is where they actually give you the file in multiple different formats, like downloadable with one click from the website, which I think is extremely convenient and really nice. So if you come to my media kit, right, and you want me to have me on your podcast or something like that, and you need this photo, this cutout or whatever, I want to give you the option to download it in one click with multiple things. Now you might think like these are query looped, okay? I mean, we'll bring this up too. So these brand assets, get rid of this. These brand assets right here are individual like custom post types, right? And they have these different things. And it's just dynamic visibility. So if I have like a WebP and a PNG, then it's only going to show those. And I'll show you how I did that on the front end, but it's only going to show those. If I have a JPEG and a PNG, it's only going to show those. And that's how you get this, right? So for this one, I uploaded a JPEG, PNG, and WebP. For this one, JPEG and WebP. And it depends on what you want to do, how much you want to upload, whatever you want to manage, whatever. But the point is that like it's a preview, because the previews, that's the other thing too, is what I tried to do for every single photo on this website, which you probably should do, but I just have probably been lazy in the past, is any picture like this that doesn't have like any transparent. I mean, it could even have transparency, I guess. Yeah, I mean, pretty much every single picture on this website is a WebP as of right now. Even if it does, like even this one right here that has transparent, it's WebP because WebP supports that. However, there's also other pictures on this website or other images, figures, whatever you want to call them on this website that are SVG. And that would be like any logos that I could that had the SVG equivalent. So my point is that these images that you're seeing are as compressed as you can, whatever, that I could or whatever, and they're WebP. But then if you come down here, you can click any of them. And if you come into like this thing here, I could show you this. This is just a my current age thing that I did custom here. That was just a custom. I'm trying to remember. Was it Bricks Labs? I looked up something, and it's not just a custom function. It's actually it actually made it. I was able to make it into a custom tag. I'm gonna have to do like a little tutorial or show that somewhere, because I wrote some code for that. Like I had to finagle some code for that. So it actually put that in here. So at any point I could just pop this in here. So that was pretty sick, like a little custom tag in there, which I had never done before. But anyway, back down to here. So this is a loop, right? These individual things, like these are loop cards, these asset cards. And then down here, I have all of the four there, right? But they have conditions. So like for instance, the JPEG one is dynamic condition. If the JPEG file does not equal nothing, then show it. Actually, did they change this now where it's is not empty? Is not empty, is empty. I think they put these in here since I did this, so I could probably do it differently now. But my point is that all I'm doing here is I'm displaying this if there's something in there. or I'm not displaying it if there's not something in there or whatever. And then that's how you get this. So it's, if you understand like the core concepts of dynamic conditions and how you can do that, then you can have something really cool there. That's all dynamic. I'm not like throwing in 3 buttons here and 2 buttons here. It's all dynamic. That's what I love. Having you can just search for company brand assets all the time. I'm so grateful for companies do it easy downloads. Yeah, 100%. This is a small feature, but it's something that I really like because I wanted to build that, and it's cool. Biography, simple biography. Just the reason behind this is because I feel like if you're a person that's going to be on like appearances and do different shit or whatever, you need to have a very simple way for people to get like the base. And this is probably not the way that I want to put this yet, but you need to have a very simple biography that somebody could just like copy and paste if they were going to be potentially that lazy, or just like the main pieces of like what you kind of want to know if like you're speaking somewhere or going on something. And then down here is more info about me. Like if they want to go to the about page and see more info and like create something or whatever, then they can do that. But just giving people that are looking around for these types of things like a very simple bio or origin story or whatever. I might add more to these, these things here, but this is again minimum viable product there. And then now this, I kind of went back and forth on, like, want to have me on your show or whatever, and like thinking about putting a thing there, like like an actual form here. I decided to do the forming differently and just do like pretty much one form. Like there's the newsletter form, but then there's also one contact form. So if we go to like reach out to me, so we have like a let's talk page. And then I'm a big fan of this. Probably nobody else is, but I'm a big fan of having one form to manage and making the filler outer of that form make like a little bit of a decision. And I don't know if it's if it's a good idea or a bad idea. I'm still like kind of in the hypothesis stage, but here's what happens. You could do like reCAPTCHA and turn silent, all that sort of stuff, which I would highly recommend. But I still get people that are just like giving like on client websites or whatever that just like throw random shit in the form. But I did one recently that was much more complex, and it's been like a way better experience. It's like if somebody's going to go take the time to fill out a form, there's different schools of thought on this, but like I'm a busy person. Like I don't want to be like if you get turned off by having to click 3 extra times, then okay, fine. Then don't fill out the form. But I would much rather see you and like have the information that I need. I need to sneeze. Sorry, sneezed. But I would much rather have the information and have you like fill out like and make a decision here, because I feel like maybe it's a little less body that like, and obviously again, reCAPTCHA and all that sort of stuff or whatever you want to do. But I'm just saying, I like one form. I think it's better for me. Hopefully it's better for the clients. We'll test it out. We'll let you know. But the idea is like, I'm going to need first name, last name, email from everyone, maybe phone, whatever. And then subject is, I'm setting the scene here. Okay. I have a lot of shit going on. I don't want, if I can avoid it, I don't want people like coming to this website and saying, Mark, can you build me a website? I don't want that to happen. So I'm trying to be as upfront as possible. And I don't know if this is going to stay like this. Okay. This is just a quick thing I wrote. I would love to talk to you, but I must say up front, my time is valuable nowadays, as is yours. Please use the appropriate channels to reach out depending on the request. I know that's asking like a lot for just people to just read, but maybe. So media appearances and requests, affiliate sponsorships and opportunities, website critique submissions, you can do it right here. If you want web design projects, right? If you want me to do something, or however I say that, like if you need me to build you a new website, click on this link and you're going to go to Find a Tech and you go deal with it over there. I want that to come through that channel, because that might not always be like just me. I need it to come through there and go through that process. Or business and technical questions, I want you to go over to the consulting and I want you to set up an appointment with me. I can't have you dumping a bunch of random like bricks or like business questions into this form and then hoping that I get back to you. It's just going to get lost. It's also like, I can't just like, I try to do as much content as I can, but I can't like give away like completely free, like one-off, like all the time. If you leave it in the YouTube comments related to a video, totally. Like I'm not just gonna, whatever. But like I'm saying, like that is the business of this. Like there's just so much time. So it's kind of a weird spot. I gotta fine tune some things, but that's just being honest with you. So the next thing is subject would be like, I want Mark to produce sponsored content for my brand, or I want my website publicly critiqued by Mark, or I want Mark to be a guest on my show or speak at an event or something like that. So just quickly, this is again WS Form, beautiful power of conditional fields and all sorts of stuff. You can do conditional logic for not just the fields and everything, but also like the sending of all of it. It's incredible. So this is funny. I don't have this page done yet, but if like I want Mark to produce sponsored content for my brand, it's like, have you visited? And you can bring up like a little note here. Have you visited my sponsor page yet? Please review it to get a better feel for my offering. So in this racket, okay, people reach out and they're like, hey, we want you to make some content for us. Some of them are going to give you a price, and some of them are going to say, how much is it? And if you say how much is it, it's like websites. If they say how much is it, it's like websites. You got to have a price for them. So you need to have like a page. Somebody who does this really good is Jamie Marsland. He's like a sponsorship page, and he has like all like how much for each different like video or like shout out or whatever. So that type of thing is something really important to have in my position. So I'm going to create that, and then it's like, hey, I want you to make sure. It's kind of like websites. It's like I want you to make sure that you can afford this, or like that we're on the same wavelength as far as like what you're expecting and what I can deliver. And then also I do want them either on that page or something else. I want them to read that sponsorship policy, because if they don't agree with that shit, then sorry, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity as a content creator and somebody that you guys trust to take some money from a brand. So that's the concept. And then, they'll have brand name or maybe some other fields in here that they can fill out. I want my website to be public critique. I haven't done this. I know Kevin has done a ton of them. I've actually had some people ask me to do this. So with this website, I'm going to have like a simple thing here where you can come in here and you can say like, hey, give me the website for, to critique, and then you can send to a couple things, and yeah, and then if you actually want me to critique your website, I will do that. But I'm not like, I'll do it, but I don't feel right now that that's like I'm the best person to necessarily do that. I could definitely give some points and some tips, but yeah, so it's just something that I have on there. And then I want Mark to be a guest on my show or speak at my event or something like that, and then in person, live, pre-recorded, maybe get some info there. Yeah, I don't know. There's just in person is definitely going to cost money. Live or virtual or whatever, that's it's totally different. But yeah, just some random things there. Very early on the on the contact form. But I this is kind of like dynamic data to me. I love the figuring out how to do that, figuring out how to make it as easy as possible from a user experience perspective, while also making it as easy as possible on the back end. I think that is just really cool. Dang, getting lots of good ideas for my site. Thank you, Brendan. I got a ton of these ideas from you, dude. So I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know what you're saying, but take anything you want. Take it all. Maybe change the words. I would recommend not using my name on your website, anybody's website. I wouldn't, but take anything you want. All right, let's wrap this up here a couple minutes. Okay, it's funny because this is probably the most important part. All right, so here's the thing. How do I put this? I have always wanted to do this, and I've done it multiple times. I've just never done it well. And I've never really publicized it. I've never been in a place to publicize it in a way like I am now. So I'm extremely excited for this. I want to, when you have a personal brand website and you have just a persona in general, like you use shit. It is not like cool or fundamentally like different that I use bricks, frames, and ACSS, right? It's not like I'm not the only person using that. There's nothing special about that. However, so I can't I can't create just like a big list of all the tools in WordPress. That doesn't make any sense. That's not a good use for my personal brand website. What I do think might be a better use is like something like this, where I'm positioning this page, this portion. There's a couple of things here of like every tool that I've ever used. Now that's a little much. I don't know if it'll literally be every tool I've ever used, but it'll be like a lot of the tools that I've used. 100% the tools that I use now, at least. And it'll be most of the tools that I've probably ever used in a sense of that I have an opinion on. And then the concept here is if you, for some reason, watch any of my videos and you have a question and you're like, Mark, what are your thoughts on bricks? What are your thoughts on Elementor? What are your thoughts on XYZ? If I have used it, I should have some semblance of an opinion on it. Might not be timely, so that you gotta think about that, and I gotta make sure that I note that. But that's the concept. is like every tool I've ever used, right? So, and this is dynamic right here. Like there's 59 tools on this list, and this isn't done by any means. These are just notes basically, but I've used every one of them. These tools are things that I've used, and also I'm saying this in text right now, but there's gonna be like a lot more videos on this website to kind of like explain like what the fuck is going on in certain spots, because I think that that would definitely be innovative. No, I haven't seen many people do that at all. But that's definitely gonna happen a little bit more just because I love video. But these are tools that I've used. Some are really good. Any pricing you see is obviously not guaranteed. I have some stuff about that. I've used a lot of shit. The point of this page is display all the tools that I've used and have an opinion on. I'm just sharing my thoughts. Do your supplemental research. Don't just take my word as gospel. If you come to this page, you can explore using the filters and different things like that. If the tool is not on this list, it might because I have no experience with it. If you'd like me to try something, let me know. And then this is like the archive of all the tools, and then filter. Okay. So imagine you come to this website, forget that text there. Imagine you come to this website, this page of this website. The way that you're supposed to think about this is these are all the tools that I've ever used and I have an opinion on. So you scroll down and you have like literally all of the tools that I've used. Now this concept here is not crazy. I got to work on the cards and stuff like that. But at a glance, you could kind of see everything, right? You know, there's a lot of tools here. Okay. Then you can filter, which these filters are not perfect either, but the custom post types and the data that I have in are going to be like type, and type is a tough one. I'll come back to it. We'll talk about these in a second. This is a very important part. And then pricing model is kind of important, right? Because everybody loves free shit, right? And everybody loves to know if it's paid or not. So like free, freemium, or paid, right? So that's kind of like one way that I would kind of I'm categorizing some of these things. So that's with a custom field. And then tags would be like tag or category. I'm not really exactly sure yet, but you can have multiple. So probably more so tag perhaps. But I don't know. Regardless, doesn't matter if it's a tag or a category really. But then you can like, quickly. And this whole thing. This is amazing. This whole thing is done with bricks. These are the native, facet filtering things, whatever the hell you want to call them. And then this is all bricks. You could not do this in Elementor. Like I don't know if you still can, but this is the part that's just amazing to me, because I built this shit in Elementor with Jet smart filters and like Jet listing. I'm just so happy that this is all like wrapped up into it now. So, if you go like here, you got search and everything like that. I set the debounce or whatever, like all the way to the lowest setting. So hopefully it's fast. You can do like any of these, right? You can do AI, you can do whatever you want. It's a little slow going back to load everything up, but there's probably ways to make that faster. But yeah, I'm just super excited that this is just going to continue to get better, and that's kind of what it is. So like the high level here, okay? Now this is getting past MVP territory slightly. You have all these tools. That's great, Mark. That's sick. Well, when you click on one of these, do they just go to the fucking active pieces or add menu? Well, yes, no. I mean, right now it probably should, but the idea would be that I come in here, I click in active pieces, and then each one of these tools has a dynamically generated single. And then in here, there's going to be things like, what the pricing model is, but it's not meant to sell active pieces, just like this is what active pieces is or be a directory. It's meant to be my injection and my take on like active pieces or ACF or whatever. I don't know if there's any that I already have. I think automatic CSS might have something. No, I don't think I added it in here, but like, let's just do this. Let's go over here. Let me show you this part, because you're going to be like, whoa, there's a lot of shit going on here. So like automatic CSS for instance, we're editing this tool, right? So we have a website URL, we have a pricing model, right? So free, freemium, or paid. So I click that. We have a short description, which is probably going to be just like a description like from the tool, just like what it is. Like I'm not going to opinionate that really. It's just going to be kind of what it is. And then am I affiliate or not? If I am, then this thing pops up and I can put in my affiliate link, which I will have affiliate links on this website, and you will need to look at the affiliate thing, because anything you click on it, I may make money from. And then my current plan. This, like, nobody says this shit. Like, nobody says, like, they might say it, but nobody puts that on there. I don't know if anybody gives a shit, but that's, like, another thing that's completely unique to me in this website. So I'm going to have that on it. It's like, I'm just going to say my current plan and whatever it is. So like, oh, Mark actually, like, bought this as an LTD, or he subscribed to this, like, yearly at this for, the agency or whatever he's doing. So there's that. And then the whole thing for my thoughts that will be, in there somehow. There also needs to be a way for me to denote either a custom field, taxonomy, or something if I'm like actively using it, but we'll get to that in a second. And then types down here. So types, I know I talked about it earlier. I'm working on this because it seems like the facets, the filters have like a weird situation with the checkboxes from ACF, and this is Jet Engine, but like Jet Engine and whatever. Like I'm trying to get this filter to show up as like a, you know, that button or select or like radio basically on the front end. Having some trouble, not really sure what's going on there. But the idea would be like of that whole list so far, there's apps, like things can be multiple, but like the types that I've seen are like apps, Chrome extensions, credit cards, equipment, plugins, SaaS, themes, websites. So I want you to be able to come to, you know, here and see a list of all the different types of things that we have here, like the types of tools. And then if you just want to see Chrome extensions, you click Chrome extensions and you only see Chrome extensions, right? So that's the kind of the concept that I have for that. Just having some weird trouble with the check boxes things right now. And then I love the idea of having a dark mode toggle, especially how easy automatic CSS makes it. So I actually, the media in this website is nuts. I actually, and I know you could kind of do this differently, like with some SVGs, maybe if you wanted to, but I literally have like the logos, light and dark for almost every single tool, and the symbols of light and dark for almost every single tool. So just in case I ever want to change this shit up to like, I would call this more of a symbol because I couldn't find like an actual logo, but just in case I ever wanted to change these up where I, like this, we'll call this a logo. Active pieces, we'll call this a symbol over here. Sometimes you might want to change your card up where you just have like the little logo up at the top left or something, and then, you know, the rest of the stuff. Just in case I ever want to change that, I like have gathered all of that media. And I don't know if there was an easier way to do that or just pay somebody to do that, but I've gathered all that media. I've gathered most of the alternate, again, like the light and dark. So I could just flip a switch basically. Most of the things, the way that I'm building this with like with ACSS and everything like that would be, you know, tinker with a couple things and you're good to go. So yeah, there's just opportunity there. Right now it's a light site. Maybe one day it won't be. But that was my concept there, so I put all that into it. And then over here on the right, we have the categories. Nothing currently has like a featured image. I'm still playing around because I'm thinking there might be a nicer way to do a feature image, but I don't know yet because they are going to have singles. Like that's the idea. They might not have singles right off the bat because there's a lot of data that I have to still enter and figure out, but like they're going to have you know, a lot of stuff there. So there's that. Okay, I think that's pretty much it on the actual tool thing. I need to tell you about the thing that I wanted to tell you about. Used in actual production. Well, oh, you mean like the tools? Yeah, that's a good idea. I feel you should change the CPT name from tools to my tools since WordPress always has tools. Yeah, it's a not a bad point. It is a little confusing over here. From on the back end specifically, it's not the worst thing in the world for me, but I do see what you're talking about there. And then also random real quick, and then I'm going to talk about the blueprints because that's a part that I think is kind of cool. Tools. So like I was talking about earlier in the stream, there's like these. This is from Jet Engine. I don't have Admins Columns Pro, but you can do this in Jet Engine. I don't know if you can do it in ACF, but you can like add extra fields into the columns just through Jet Engine Crockablock. And if you want Jet Engine Crockablock Jet Engine, this is why I did this. this is why I did this this piece here. Did I? I think I named it literally Jet Engine here. There you go. Referral link for Jet Engine if you want that, because it is fantastic. But anyway, so yeah, so we talk about tools. All right, so here's the thing. This is one way that I'm gonna try to differentiate some of this shit even further. Okay, so we got all these things that are my opinions and everything like that, but I get questions all the time that are like, "Hey, Mark, what's your stack?" David Bell was in the chat earlier, just commented on the stream last time. He's like, "Hey, Mark, I went to your links page and it doesn't work and all that sort of stuff." And it's like, I know because I'm an idiot. Or I don't have this done yet. But one way that I want to differentiate even further is we talk about this concept of like a blueprint website, and I think that's really good. But I want to take it a step further. So what I have here is, what's the easiest way to get to this? If I just go to /blueprints, okay. You may have noticed back here in the tools that we have blueprints over here. Blueprints is a custom taxonomy, okay? And if we go to blueprints in the back, this is a custom taxonomy. It's tied up to tools. I might associate it with some other things, but right now it's just tied up to tools. And this is what we have. We have agency operations, brochure website, content creation, e-commerce website. So if you think about this, this is my blueprint that I would hand to you if you asked me, "Hey, Mark, I want to start an agency." Okay. Or I want to build a brochure website, like a non-dynamic website, or maybe a little bit dynamic, but just like a simpler website. Or, hey, Mark, I want to start creating content. What do you use? Like, what camera do you use? All that sort of shit. Or, Mark, I want to make a e-commerce website. What would you use? Those now, obviously, those are kind of super general because requirements might vary, especially when you get into e-commerce or something. But the concept is this as a couple blueprints that we could start with, and then if there's other blueprints, I could make more blueprints, and I could, kind of like take the whole tool archive that is like decent on its own and like make it into something else that is more specific to a use case. So I have blueprints. Now, fun fact here, I chatted with Brennan yesterday, and I was like, and this is why I put that poll up, and I talked about it earlier today. When you make a taxonomy, you don't have like one of these pages by default. You don't have like a let me show you what I mean. If I click on like agency operations, right? This is like the blueprint, not done, but this is the blueprint. Let me actually do a different one. Let me do this one. This is like my brochure website blueprint or something. And this is going to be probably a custom layout, like a custom archive layout, because I want to do a lot more with this. I don't want to use these same exact cards or anything. But if you ask me, Mark, what does your blueprint website look like? I'll make a video on everything, but if you go to like blueprint/brochure-website, this is what's going to be there, and it's just going to be, this is how I would do it. This is the stuff that I have here. I'm going to explain why. I'll have the video linked or whatever, and da da da. And this is the example. Like, this is one of those blueprints. Or if you came back to blueprints and you wanted to see how I run the agency or what the tools are for the agency, then I could do it like this. Again, I could do filters on the front end too, but I want one specific URL for this page, for these pages, so I can send people there. And then they can see them and they can potentially stumble on them too. What I was going to say about the taxonomies is when you create a custom taxonomy, nobody ever sends you to this. If you actually go back into WordPress and you look at posts and you look at categories, this is the default one. And if you look at the link to uncategorized, you can't see it down there on the bottom, but it's category singular / uncategorized. So like, this is a page, right? Where like if you had a blog, all of your uncategorized posts by default, they would show up here. That's how WordPress is made. Nobody ever thought of, I guess, or rarely ever uses this URL right here, /category. And you've seen my Air 404 page as well. You broke it, sick. SpongeBob. And with a link to that video. That was amazing. But anyway, nobody ever uses this /category, like the /taxonomy slug thing. For better or worse, I don't think it's really going to have any effect on anything. It's normally singular. But in this case, I do want you to be able to like see blueprints, right? Go to agency operations or whatever. And then potentially you'd want to navigate back to the blueprints. And I want to have a page that shows all the blueprints. So that's not a thing that you can like set up to work with an archive template. So what I did was I just created a page called blueprints. And then that's what that is. It's a standard page. That's what it is. But yeah, hope that all made sense. But I found that out the hard way literally yesterday when I tried to do that. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the deal is there. I don't know. Like, is there a better way to do that? Like I said, I was talking to Brendan. And this is what we decided on here. Just a page. So it's simple, easy. But this is, if somebody asks me like, hey, Mark, how do you start your agency? What do you use for websites and stuff like that? I'm probably going to send them here. So and this will look different too. But like the concept is they can just look at, 4 little cards right now and be like, okay, agency operations, here's what I use, brochure website here. And then they go into there and then they can see it. And all of that is dynamic. Like all of it is, the data of it is going to be dynamic. I'm going to set the layouts up probably, because one thing I would like to do for the brochure website specifically as an example is I want this to be like kind of from the ground up. If you came to me and you didn't know anything, you wanted to build your first website, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm not just going to have this in alphabetical order. I wanted to kind of have it in the way that my mind works through. It's like, okay, so the first thing I need to do is get a domain name. So I'm going to show you domains first. I'm going to tell you why. Then you're going to go hosting. It's kind of like a little bit of a journey in the blueprint too. Domain, or like maybe like hosting, domains, then hosting, then, pick a builder. I don't know. I can't think of it right now off the top of my head, but the way in order that I would think of it, right? Like, so for instance, analytics probably be kind of last, you know what I mean? Some of these other things like perf matters, like any sort of performance stuff, probably going to be last, depending on what it is. SEO closer towards the end, but hosting, you need to have that before, right? You don't have to, but generally. So that's the concept. Hopefully that resonates with people when I actually explain it on the thing. So yeah. What else do we have? Timeline style. Yeah. Yeah, kind of the way that you would process it. Yeah, 100%. Cool. All right. So we talked about tools. That's the big one. We are going to have videos. Videos will be on here. Hopefully, Brendan and I can figure that out and make it easy. If not, there's going to be videos. All of the videos are also going to be related to all the tools. Okay. So, like, if a tool uses a video, or if a video uses a tool, showcases a tool, then I'm going to have a situation where you can go to the video. You can watch the video if you want to. You can have, like, the transcript, description, all that sort of stuff. And then you also have a link over to, like, oh, this video, talked about bricks. Click on bricks, go over to my other thing. You're gonna see here, I already had this built in Elementor, and I was like, I'm just not happy with it. And then I rebuilt it here, and I'm so much more happy with it. So I'm really excited for you guys. Like, tools, videos, and actually resources as well, which I'm rethinking the way to do that, because I don't know what a resource to my mind would be, like a code snippet, which I don't know, like, or a custom function, or it would be like maybe like a sales pitch thing, like some sort of like document, like like a proposal or any of that sort of stuff. But those types of things, right? And maybe some of those stuff end up being premium offerings as well. But that's the way that I'm thinking about it. All of them would relate, though. They could relate, right? Like if I made a video about how to do a sales proposal, then I want to show you that, and I want that all that content to relate. And I just love that part of this whole thing. So I do have to wrap up here, but I'll show you the consulting page. It's pretty straightforward. I need to get a slightly better offer, but anything, I mean, again, we've already had calls with people, and they've been great. Really appreciate it. Love the projects that I'm hearing about and everything like that. But like custom post types, dynamic data, project planning, content marketing, personal branding, business operations, we need more specific things. I'd love to actually record more calls and show people literally the exact calls. Sometimes that's tough because things are, confidential, so to speak. This was actually a nice picture that professional friend of our photographers took. So that was it's kind of a little bit more injection. That's literally what if I turn to my right, that's what I'm looking at, like coming this way. So that was kind of cool. And then, so I did this little bricks interaction thing here to bring this big ass arrow in. And then these are the same thing. These are cards that are just query looped. And these are all those testimonials. We talked way back about the testimonials. These are the testimonials that have full, it's querying only full testimonials, so there's no screenshots or anything like that. And these are full testimonials from people that I've either worked with in the past, on consulting things or worked together with or what have you. And and then down at the bottom, you can book the call and you can go to the Calendly thing. More, obviously, MVP, more to come. Lots of things here. But guys, I really appreciate all the engagement, all the interaction today. I love you guys for supporting everything that I'm doing. Again, this will be done here, launched definitely next week, because I'm basically at the finish line. Got to finish up some of the copy and things like that. And if you guys have any ideas, also last idea here, because this is kind of an interesting one, is I think this website calls for a little thing at the bottom, either in the footer or just like a little hoverable thing that is like, hey, this website's brand new. If you see any problems with it, have any feedback at all, or just like think I could do something like a little bit differently or better or whatever, have any ideas, shoot me a message, and like it'll have like a little form or whatever. I'd love to do something like that. So I think I might do that. Almost like a little markup thing, not markup IO, because I don't need like a whole ass situation for that, but just anything like that. And so guys, I appreciate you so much. Can't tell you enough. Look forward to next week with Brendan. I may also have, I don't want to announce this, but there may be another guest appearance that I make next week. So we'll see about that. But there's more to come. We're just getting started. I'm really excited for this. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, all the great comments and everything like that. If you have any questions, again, leave them in the comments if you watch on the replay. And I got to go. So thank you. We'll talk to you in the next one. See ya. Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern.